Hello, my creative friends, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Prompt. In this episode, I just wanted to create a little bit of announcement about Fast Screenplay. If you have had any interest in checking out Fast Screenplay, seeing what it's all about, we are actually going to be closing up the 10-day free start on September 15th, 2019. So I wanted to make a little video. There's a couple days left. If you have never signed up for the 10-day free start and you think you might want to, please do. Now's your chance, because once we close that, that's going to be closed forevermore. The reason is because I have run the numbers, I've looked at the statistics, and most people who sign up for the 10-day free start are not actually starting. They're not treating it as a free start. Everyone who signs up for the free start calls it a free trial. I get people emailing me saying, so I signed up for your free trial. It's not a trial, it's a start. And this is part of the problem and one of the difficulties that I have. And that's why I wanted to make this video on it, where most people watching this aren't really going to care too much about the free start. If you think of Fast Screenplay as something to try, or to trial, or to inspect and determine whether or not it's going to be good enough for you, you're already going into it with a fundamental misunderstanding of what it is. Fast Screenplay is the complete process. Like, you start on day one from nothing, and you go step by step through the process to your deal, to your sale, to getting an agent, to making a movie. We go step by step through the entire process. We start by preparing your imagination. We then dig into the story development so that the story you develop is more in sync with your ultimate target. We then blast that story onto the page. We then refine that story through this incredibly complex rewrite process that leaves absolutely no stone unturned. We then refine and polish your project so that it's a page turner. When someone picks it up, they cannot put it down. We then move through the notes and feedback process, and I show you how the notes and feedback process, how you can use it. We go through the process of actually using notes and feedback to make sure that your screenplay lands with the reader the way you want it to land with the reader. And then we know we have a viable project at that point. So it's tested. We've tried it out. If it wasn't quite right, we loop back through those rewrites until we mold it into the ideal project that is perfectly suited for the right kind of audience. And then we find and connect with the producer of that audience, guiding you through that process. It's the process. There's nothing to test. There's nothing to trial. So the free start was literally to show you how the start of the process, to help you lay that initial foundation, which is absolutely essential, and 99% of writers don't do that. So it was this free start. But people which would treat it as a free trial, and so they're doing the steps. When they do the steps, they're doing those steps as an evaluation exercise. They're not really doing the steps. They're looking at the steps and they're thinking, well, I already know this. And then they're moving to the next step. And they're not actually doing it. But the way it works is if you don't do those earlier steps, you're not prepared for the next steps. The step 3 is built on the assumption that you've actually done, not just read, but done step 1 and 2. Step 10 is built on the assumption. All the hidden subtleties and nuances of step 10 are based upon the notion that you've actually done, not just read, but done physically all of the steps leading up to it, 1 through 9 at that point. The later in the process, when you're actually out there trying to knock on the doors and market your screenplay to the industry, it's assuming that you've been through all those phases and all those steps, and you have all those skills that we've done and developed and built upon through the whole process. When writers don't succeed with it, I take a look at what they've done and I examine their experience with it, and they're sending out scripts that have not actually been tested, or they haven't actually done the notes and feedback part of the process. They haven't actually refined their project until it's solid. They haven't actually tweaked and polished their project so that it is a page turner. I look at the pages they send, I'm like, this isn't a page turner. You clearly have not tested this against an audience, against an objective audience that's going to tell you this is not a page turner. This is a very difficult read. So so there's no point jumping ahead. There's no point hunting the information out of the 10-day free start. Unfortunately, I've said this many times to people, like give very clear, explicit instructions of how to use it, and people simply don't use it that way. And I think what happens is people end up getting the wrong idea about what fast screenplay is. If you jump in on day one and you're fully in, you're immersed, you're taking action with it, you're going to get something out of the process, because step 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, you're building upon what you've actually done. If you don't do that stuff, it's never going to really click. And so I want writers to join Fast Screenplay because they want to. I want you to do it because it's in your best interest. I've never made a cent out of Fast Screenplay. I don't take a salary. I don't take any profits out of it. Every dollar goes right back into the system. So it doesn't do me any good to have to support and help people who are not actually doing it, people who are not actually connecting with it. At the end of the day, I want to get you to where you want to go, but I built a system to make that happen. I built a system to make that all but guaranteed. At one point, I used to guarantee success as a result of it. It still didn't push people through that process. It ended up sounding a little gimmicky. We decided to stop doing that. But at the end of the day, we will get you where you're trying to go, but you have to actually do it. So giving people a 10-day free start made the most sense to me for a very long period of time, because I thought, I want people to see what it is. I want people to try it out. I want people to know that they like it before they ever trade me money, right? Even if it's just to pay the cost of having them in the process. So the problem, after a lot of testing, a lot of trial, a lot of error, a lot of wishing and hoping that writers would follow through, or that they would actually do it with full enthusiasm, it just doesn't really work out. So I'm discontinuing the 10-day free start. What we're going to do instead is, if you're interested in joining, sign up for that first month. If at the end of the month you're not happy for any reason whatsoever, send me an email. We'll get you a refund without any questions asked. I would hope that you would actually do the steps. I would hope that you would actually see how it works. And I would like you to do it in good faith, because we're going to have to pay to have you there, whether you join us or not. So hopefully you'll be willing to cover your costs of being there. But if you're not happy for whatever reason, I don't want to just take a writer's money. My goal is not to make money off of writers. My goal is to make money off of audiences. The audiences that the writers write the films for, and we can go out and produce. So if you have any interest in doing the 10-day free start before it's gone in a couple of days, now, at the time of the release of this video, is your last chance to do so. Otherwise, if you're watching this video after that point, if you have any questions about how the system works, or what it is, or why it literally is something every single writer of any level should be doing. And the reason I say that is, if you're an intermediate or advanced level writer and you're knocking on doors and not getting any response, chances are there's some part of the process that you're not doing, where your skills are not developed enough. And it's essential to learn those skills. I'm not telling you to do it my way. FAST is a walk through the process. It's a guide through the process. Once you've experienced it, you customize it. You do it in your own unique way. You've got some screenwriting guru or book or class or course or something that you just absolutely love, and that person's story design graph is the thing that you want to follow forever. Perfect. drop it into the focus phase, the story development phase. It's going to amplify your results with that expert. Or if you just simply do the way it's designed through FAST, maybe you'll find a new way, a more efficient way, a faster way, a way that covers all the loose ends to help you get where you're trying to go. That's my goal, ultimately. Let's get you where you're trying to go. So join the 10-day free start if it's still available by the time you're watching this video. If not, thank you for understanding. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next episode.